Welcome back to the channel for another tactical preview of Bournemouth's games. We've got Liverpool this weekend on my birthday, so hopefully we get 3 points. I'm joined by George Scaife, Liverpool fan, but he makes loads of great content over on TikTok, over on YouTube, darts, music, literally anything. So I'm going to put all his links in the description. Make sure you guys go and check him out. But let's just get straight into it. How can Bournemouth win, or at least maybe get a draw this weekend? Because it's going to be a really tough game. Like, what are we now? 11 unbeaten in the league, which is just mental. I think we could see it come to an end this weekend. Firstly, are you feeling confident going into this game, or are you a bit worried?
I think any team who's top of the league should feel confident. We've been very good this year, like very good this year. Some fans are taking a weird sour turn, which is one segment of the fan base I can't get behind at all. Overall, been great. This is probably the most nervous I think I've been going into a game, aside from maybe Arsenal because of who they are, maybe City as well, of course. That'll always happen with them two sides. But you've what? Is it 11, 12 games you say unbeaten?
Yeah.
And I feel like if we're going to concede first in any game this year, which we have been prone to do at times this year and last year, I think you are going to do it. You start very quick. You go for wins. You go every game like it's your last game. I said that with Brentford as well the other week. I love that about you. The mentality is great. I think you've got on the bottom left there. How can Bournemouth win? Do you think you actually will go out to win this game? Do you think you'll set out to win? Because I entirely think you will.
Yeah, I'll just quickly touch on what you said earlier there about us potentially going a goal up. The thing with us is if we go a goal up, we can't sometimes struggle to control the game state because we're not a possession dominant side. So I could see us dropping off if we do go a goal up. We've scored like the most goals in the last like 15 minutes in the league. I think you're up there as well. So I think this will be a game that will be won at the end of the game. But onto your question, yes, I think we will go out trying to win this because Iraola's not the kind of guy to just sit back and play defensive against the big teams. And also, like, our play style, like, isn't suited to doing that. So it works, and we're going to try it. And if it doesn't work against you, it's better than going, into a play style that we're not used to, that we're not trained up on. So yeah, I think we will. And I guess that kind of relates to what you were saying to me about the press. You feel like that could cause you some problems?
I think so. I said this a while back. What was the game when Clovert scored 3 the first time? Who was that against?
That was against Wolves. That was with
That game, I was like, I know Wolves aren't amazing in possession. You absolutely gave them like 0 time at all. They were barely making it into your half at times. You suffocate teams. You pretty much kind of swallow them whole, don't you? And that is so effective, so efficient. And I think you're the best team off the ball in the league. And I look at Forest as well. They are very good off the ball, but in a different way. They like to surrender a lot of the ball. But you are brilliant. And I think if we are going to concede, I can honestly see it being a defender being caught out on possession. Maybe I've seen it a few times this year. Van Dijk's been caught out a couple times. Canate as well. Robertson's not having the greatest bit of form. If it's going to happen, it's going to be one of your forwards pouncing on one of our defenders, catching them out, maybe even a midfielder, and breaking quick. And if any team's going to do it, I think it's Hughes.
Yeah. Does Slot like to play out the back like quite a lot, or is it more like a quick transition?
Yeah, it's definitely less. If I compare it to the Klopp kind of style, it's less fast. It's less high intensity. He's much more reserved. He likes to find them more. He said to Trent at the start of the year, "I'd rather play 3 passes and get to from A to B, as opposed to Trent playing 1 pass. It likes to be more calculated, less likely to lose the ball. So it is fast. It's high intensity, but it isn't heavy metal like it was with Klopp. Like I guess you play now.
Yeah. We're very like direct and just go. To be fair, like I know you've just said this isn't how Slot wants to play, but I could see like one of those Trent long balls just completely catching our press out if we're like just out of time. If he's just got that extra like half second and can just like release it and let Salah go. Like he's still doing that so much this season, even like with your different play style, as you say. But yeah, I think with any team, any preview I do, one of the main points will be like our press is going to be a problem for you. Wingers beating fullbacks and shooting from far. Is that for you or us?
That's how I think we could concede. I think we've had a few of them this year. I think about Hudson-Odoi against Forest at home. That was how that came about. And that comes from transitions again, kind of losing spacing, and you're so good at that and shaking it all up with runners going everywhere, particularly with Evan Nilsson, but obviously he's not there. He was so good at that. Them false runs, even when he's not involved in the play. he'll be taking the defender out, bringing someone else in, and that was so great.
I do
But
think
even when
I think Dango's like kind of replaced him in that sense quite well, though. But yeah, of course,
yeah,
carry on.
definitely. And players like Semenyo, we've seen can crack shots. All of them. I mean, Tavernier, is Tavernier back ready?
So he came on in our last game against Forest, so we could see him start, but I'm not sure if we'll rush him back with Brooks. He's been
Right.
out.
Yeah, Brooks as well. Clover, I mean, recently he's been very good.
Yeah,
He's probably your form player, you've got to say right now. I mean, outside the box, just on the edge of the box, he can crack a shot. So when I say I think on the edge of the box we're going to struggle, I think it's one of the weaknesses in our team right now, and one of your strengths. You got to say.
yeah, definitely. Like as you say, Semenyo's just unreal at shooting with both feet so powerfully. Clive, I wouldn't have said it earlier in the season, but we've seen him score outside the box in the last 2 games, so that could happen. And then if Tab does start, he does love to cut inside and sort of loop it. And yeah, I could definitely see that potentially causing goals.
Yeah.
And then just quickly, set pieces as well. So have you not been great at defending them?
Well, particularly we're not very good at attacking them. I think we're the second worst team. I think it's per corner we've got the second least goals, something like that. But if you can definitely use that in relation to the defensive side as well. We conceded. I mean, our last goal was a set piece. We conceded. I know there were a couple subs on the pitch, maybe not as aware of the positioning, etc. But I'm not. I'm just really content with our set pieces this year. We've not been great. I don't feel comfortable at all. It's not like Everton where you got all these lads who are willing to throw everything at the ball. Aside from Canate and Van Dijk, I'm thinking who's going to make this happen? Who's going to clear this ball? Especially, I think we're struggling with second balls. You know, and it's the kind of the second phase. I feel like we're just not first to the ball. Players not being quick out to the edge of the box, not closing down fast enough, and that comes into the outside the box shot thing again. These things are kind of linking in. If we can just get that second phase sorted out, I think we'll concede a lot less goals. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, set pieces both ways. We've not been particularly strong this year.
Yeah, I think in terms of the stats, we're not crazy like top 5 or anything, but like we can be okay from set pieces. We've had it a couple of times with like I don't know what you call them, like set piece routines, basically. Like that corner,
the one against Arsenal was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then you might not have seen it because it wasn't against Arsenal or anything. It was against Brentford. We scored a similar one, like just making runs and Clive managed to score. Howson scored twice this season.
Yeah.
He's absolutely massive. I don't know if you saw Dango's header against Forest. Like,
yes, yeah.
From a corner, but he jumps so high, and he does that all the time. But like, people probably haven't seen it, but they'll see that goal and be like, "Wow, he can do that." He does that all the time. He just hasn't really scored one yet. So potentially, he's another option there. Defending set pieces, I'm pretty confident. Like, I can't remember many we've conceded this season, and I don't feel. I mean, I'm going to jinx it now, but I don't feel that nervous when other teams have set pieces. Touch wood. I mean, Van Dijk is a very good header of the ball, but I'm feeling fairly confident here. We'll move.
I think with set pieces, I think now you need 4 or 5 lads who are going to do something in the air. We've got Canate and Van Dijk who always come up. I mean, they've scored I think twice each this year or something like that. But with how it's going now with all set piece coaches, I mean, they're more prevalent than ever, right? Standing pretty much in the box, trying to win the header themselves. There's so much focus on these set pieces. You have to have more than 2 lads doing it because they're going to mark you out the game. You spoke there about your set piece drills and that one against Arsenal, especially with the false runners. I think you're more than switched on to sort our best 2 out in the box, to be honest with you. And also the other way around as well, Van Dijk and Canate, the 2 who are going to be marking the big lads. But I think you've got more than 2 who can do something in the air. I think it's a big threat. And if we do concede from a corner, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. I'm not confident that we'll score from one, but now you said that, I'll keep an eye on it when we do inevitably get some. We'll just move on to some positives for you. And like, it is obvious, like, you're top of the league by an absolute mile, like storming the Champions League as well. So like, it is likely that you will potentially win, but we'll move on to some like specifics here. Midfield, I agree that will be a great battle. How's yours been this season?
We've been very good. We've had I was saying a separate video we just filmed then. Gravenberch last year it's phenomenal how he's transformed. It was a number 8 last year. He didn't even play 4th, 5th, 6th choice at times. And now I can't imagine this team without Gravenberch. He's been so good. You said before the most improved player in the season, and I probably agree. Pairing him with McAllister, really good pairing in terms of legs meets kind of technical ability. You've got a good pair in there. I look at something like Tielemans and Onana at Villa, that really dynamic duo. And I think McAllister and Gravenberch are that. Mix in Szoboszlai, the legs, the work ethic, and when he's been out the team the last 5, 6 games, I mean, he's been back the last 2 or 3, and it's shown. We've been very good with him back in the team. The legs, yeah, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, he's kind of coming back. They're both great on the ball. They can both make things happen, but off the ball, I just think that they don't have that Szoboszlai pressing on, locking on to the front three, sorry, making the front four. Jones can't do it as effectively as Szoboszlai, but that's where it's interesting when we play you because you've got runners in there. Cook gives as much as anyone. Christie as well as a workhorse, underrated player. Adams, solid defensively. He's quite fast as well, I think, Adams. He's got a good recovery pace. It'll be an interesting battle that in the midfield, and that's probably the area that and maybe the. To be fair, I'm thinking that even his fullbacks have been very good. Kirk is in particular, but I'd say midfield is a contested area in particular.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so much running because
Yeah.
And yeah, Christie and Adams have been great recently. Christie's been great the whole season. Adams has come in, done a really good job. Cook will obviously be at right back, but he does kind of like invert at times as well. It's going to be really physical against Newcastle. Like we were just hacking them to death. Like Joe Linton got fouled a million times. Yeah. Thing is, like we don't have anyone on the bench, so I feel like if it's really physical and really tiring, and whether that's with slight knocks or cards or fatigue, if you can bring on like Jones, as you say, maybe Elliott, but I don't know if you will.
Yeah.
That might be where you beat us towards the end of the game because it's going to be. You're probably one of the only teams that can match us with like the game intensity. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You've been struggling with injuries, haven't you? And I love that about Bournemouth. I mean, you battered Newcastle. I'm seeing Tottenham all complaining, etc., and Arsenal, but I've not seen one of your fans complain or nothing like that. Get on with it. You're beating good teams, battering 2 good teams recently. It's refreshing to see.
Yeah, like I said on a TikTok, like I think we've got a worse injury crisis than Spurs, but a lot of people disagree with that. But I mean, at points we had no senior players on the bench essentially that were outfield.
Yeah.
We'll just really quickly wrap up with Gakpo, if you want to, because Salah's obvious. And
Yeah, I wrote when I sent you 3 things. I was like, Salah's Salah. It's one of them things. Even if he has a poor game, maybe perhaps he'll probably still score. It's one of them things.
yeah.
And Gakpo, I think Gakpo's a catalyst at the moment in our games. He's probably been our best attacker the last month and one of our best players. It's refreshing to see him move onto the left at the start of the year. He did it in the Euros, I suppose, back end of that. Had a good tournament, stayed off the left. His output's really developed. He's actually scoring a lot of goals now from outside the box. I think he's got at least 3 or maybe 2 or 3 outside the box curlers.
Yeah.
Saying about you lads, your strength is outside the box. I think Gakpo can match it. And I look at obviously you're right back in your main lad, isn't there, Smith? I don't think he's playing, is he? It's Cook.
Oh, yeah, Cook, yeah.
Who's going to play? And he said maybe I know he's a midfielder and he's still obviously a competent footballer, but maybe him being a midfielder as a right back is that a potential weakness in your side? Obviously, he's one of your better players, but positionally, I think Gakpo can get at him.
That's probably the one position on our team that's the weakest at the moment with the injuries, as good as Cook is.
But I think Kirkes as well. Kirkes is one of your best players. He's definitely one of the best fullbacks in the league, but he does like to get forward and he does like to attack. And maybe Salah pinning him back is going to be interesting. Is he going to restrict Kirkes' output? I think maybe. I think if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd be thinking or looking at that. Trent also likes to push on wingers, likes to push wingers back. It'd be interesting. I think it's lining up for a good game. 2 good sides. I think you're on better form than us. Obviously, we're at home. That's a big factor. I might give you a little score prediction, actually. I feel like I built myself up for a score prediction. Have you got anything in mind? Score prediction come to mind?
I'll go
2-1 Liverpool. I'll go 2-1.
I'm not optimistic about this weekend, but I don't want to predict a loss. So I will say 2-2, I think.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can keep your attack completely quiet, but I think we can match that with a couple of goals at the other end of the field. So yeah, we'll see. I think it could go either way, to be honest. It'll be interesting
definitely.
to see how it goes. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Who's going to win? What's the score going to be? And make sure you check out George's stuff. I'll put it all in the description. We'll catch you guys later. Up the cherries.
See you later.
Perfect.